Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news right now at 8 o'clock. We've learned in the last 20 minutes a mother and her baby were found safe after an abduction this morning. The new details from police after their rescue in Wake Forest.
Also breaking right now, a fiery crash on I-40. We have a look at what has happened as a result of this and traffic, the impact it's having this morning.
As you step out the door, temperatures are cool. We're in the 50s right now, so you want a jacket to start with. But boy, you'll want to shed it this afternoon as we climb into the 80s. I'll show you when we climb into the 90s.
Drinking water changes. Today, Harnett County leaders will decide on whether to keep adding fluoride to their water. The far-reaching effects this could have. Watching that story and others, of course, we'll get back to that mother and her child that were found. Obviously, that was a bit of an intense thing that we learned overnight. We'll dive into that in just a bit. Thanks so much for joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. We have everything you need to know to get all caught up for your Tuesday morning. We'll start with weather. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a live look over downtown Raleigh. And like she said, you might need the jacket now, but probably not later.
It's so pretty out there. Just gorgeous like it was yesterday, but a little bit warmer. We've climbed now to 61. The reason for the change is our wind is now coming out of the south, so that's pushing more warm air into the region for today. It is 54 in Roxborough, 56 Rocky Mount, 58 in Fayetteville, 57 Southern Pines. So now we're looking at mainly mid to upper 50s as we're getting a little closer to 8 and 9 o'clock. Our temperatures are running anywhere from just a couple of degrees to as much as 7 to 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. At lunchtime, 77. We'll see highs in the low 80s for this afternoon. Today stays nice and dry, but there is rain in the forecast tomorrow. I'll walk you through it hour by hour. Ken?
8:01, Elizabeth. Let's get right to that breaking news we've been following, and then we'll talk about some of our major routes here. This is a situation where I-40 eastbound is closed near Faison between Suttontown Road and exit 355 because of a fiery crash. Let's get right to WRAL's Kelsey Coffey, just arriving there on the scene to set the scene for us and let us know what happened. Kelsey.
Yes, Ken, traffic is backed up all the way down 40 East here, and there's nearly a dozen emergency vehicles still in the area this morning. And we'll give you a look now at what's left of 2 tractor trailers. We'll also show you some video from Sky 5 so you can see these tractor trailers engulfed in flames. And the State Highway Patrol says the initial call came in as a tractor trailer explosion. We're working to find out how many vehicles were involved in this crash. SHP says at least one person was injured. We're working to get an update on their condition and whether there were any more injuries in this crash. Right now, all lanes of 40 East are closed near exit 355, and the road is expected to reopen at 10 o'clock. But Ken, what can you tell people in the meantime for their morning commute?
So many people go down to the East Coast, maybe to Wilmington. But if you're doing that, you want to exit 341, work your way over to Highway 55, then to Highway 117, and work your way back to I-40 eastbound this morning. Of course, we'll stay on top of this and keep you posted. Around here, we're seeing the usual congestion building on the usual spots around the Beltline. Of course, I-87 coming in from Knightdale, and this is what you're seeing right now. These are the southbound lanes coming toward us. So it's a situation where you might want to give yourself some extra time. So here's some other major routes coming into the capital city. Here's what we're looking at in terms of those delay times if you're coming into the capital city this morning. You're looking at a 14-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest and a 10-minute delay if you're coming in from Knightdale. Over in Durham, very little to no delays coming in to Durham this morning. So you're getting ready to head out. Your traffic is constantly changing. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. Breaking news, the Wake County Sheriff's Office is looking for a missing 17-year-old. Annabella Beta was last seen near Chandler Ridge Circle in Raleigh. She is 5'6" and was last seen wearing a red hooded sweatshirt, gray sweatpants with a star on the leg, and Nike shoes. If you have any information, call 911.
Today will be the last budget meeting before Wake County Schools votes on a plan, and this will be shared with county commissioners. The district says it needs $60 million beyond its current budget, and this is to continue operating as normal and open 4 new schools next year. So far, no new cuts are on the agenda for today, not yet. The board plans to vote on a proposal to commissioners on May 6th. Now, the meeting starts at 3 p.m., and we will be watching to see how the final proposal shapes up as the vote gets closer. You can tune into WRAL News from 4 to 7 tonight for more on the district's funding needs.
And And today we expect a final decision on whether to keep fluoride in drinking water in Harnett County. This also affects people in Holly Springs and Fuquay-Varina. Health officials recommended to the County Board of Commissioners last week to keep fluoride in water. Board of Health members spent 20 minutes watching a presentation on the benefits of water fluoridation. Members emphasize fluoride levels are closely monitored.
Companies are able to sell your information. We're talking about your hobbies, your religious views, even your sexual orientation. And this is why state lawmakers want to crack down on that. Today, the legislature will debate making businesses get your permission to collect or sell your data. The bill would also restrict social media access to people over the age of 18 and require proof of ID just to sign up.
In Minnesota, people are out looking at what a spring storm left behind there. Thousands without power after strong winds and hail swept through yesterday. You can see the damage this large tree knocked down. A barn was also destroyed, and owners found debris tossed half a mile down the road.
Today is day 2 of jury selection in the trial of a Raleigh man accused of beating his mother to death. Christopher McCullough is charged with murder. It happened in August of 2023. Investigators say McCullough went to his parents' home on Ingate Way in Raleigh, and the beating happened in front of his 2-year-old child. His parents were in the hospital for weeks, and his mother died. New documents show how McCullough plans to defend himself. His attorneys filed a defense called voluntary intoxication. That means that he was drinking during the crime.
More or less the defense you use to negate one of the elements of the crime. In this case, it would be the intent that was necessary for first-degree murder.
Now, if convicted, McCullough faces life in prison or the death penalty.
The Goldsboro Police Department is holding a funeral service this morning for a beloved K-9 officer. K-9 Lark died last month. The service begins at 9 o'clock this morning at the First Responders Memorial on the Wayne Community College campus.
Investigators say these 8 people stole $40,000 from an elderly Chatham County man. They're accused of using that man's information and money to pay their bills and open credit cards. A Chatham County staff sergeant says this kind of crime is becoming more common.
It's important that as family members start to get older and unable to keep up with things, keeping a track of their accounts. In this case, the daughter was power of attorney, and that's great because she was able to get a lot of records from the financial institution to help us where the father may not have been able to do that.
Sergeant Rob Miller also says that it's important, so critical, to know who you are letting inside your home.
Jeff, welcome to the WRAL Live Center. I want to bring you here for some live pictures right now. We have a safe resolution to that Amber Alert we have been telling you about all morning long. If you take a look at this live picture, this is in Wake Forest right now. Less than an hour ago, investigators were called there to that home where the 2 involved in this Amber Alert were found safe. Within the last hour or so, a mother and her 1-year-old daughter, we got this information here. You heard the Amber Alert probably overnight on your phone about 2 a.m. Police say 3 people with guns and masks broke into their home in Garner and kidnapped them. They refused to give $1 million. There were some other details that are pretty disturbing. A man inside that home was taped down. Police say the suspects then drove off in a black Nissan Altima, and the search has been on all night long. So we're trying to figure out what brought them to this home in Wake Forest right now, how they ended up there, if any arrests have been made out of this case. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is on the way to that scene right now. We'll have a live report for you coming up in just a little bit from here.
What a relief. They were both found safe. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Colvin calling for sweeping safety changes in the city. He called for a special meeting next week to discuss declaring a public safety state of emergency, a strict 9 p.m. curfew for unsupervised teens, and more security, including an expansion of the city's camera network.
If it saves one life, it's successful. So, we're going to do practical things.
This comes after a series of recent shootings in Fayetteville, including one near the Dogwood Festival over the weekend and one at the city's carnival in March that left a child hurt. City Council will review the new safety recommendations at their meetings next Monday.
Today, the NC Black and Brown Policy Network will hold an advocacy day. That starts at 9:30 this morning at the State Legislative Building in downtown Raleigh. The group will spend the day urging lawmakers to work on issues that affect Black and Brown communities across the state. That includes housing availability, immigration, education, and health care, too.
Tonight, leaders in Cumberland County will reflect on progress and look ahead to the future. Chairman Kirk DeVier will deliver the State of the County address. It starts at 6 p.m. at the Cumberland County Historic Courthouse. The public is invited.
Time is 8:09. Jet overboard. How a $60 million jet fell off a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier during a conflict overseas.
And an outage investigation. Authorities in Spain working to figure out what caused a massive blackout, the widespread impact to travel, phone service, and sporting events.
And a nice warm day today. Our high temperatures will climb into the low to mid 80s, but we could see highs near records for the next several days. I'll show you coming up. 8:13, looking beautiful in Apex this morning as we look down Salem Street. You can see nothing but sunshine. This beautiful weather feels comfortable. We're starting to climb into the mid 50s to around 60. It's 61 in Durham, 55 in Roxborough and Garner, and 56 degrees in Rocky Mount. It's a little bit warmer than it was this time yesterday. Heading out the door still, though, in the 50s, you might want to grab a jacket if you have your short sleeves and t-shirts on, because you're going to want that later as our temperatures climb into the low 80s. We're dry today, but I'm tracking a front that'll bring us a chance of showers for tomorrow and then for the weekend. And we'll get into more detail on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Yard work forecast, you may want to get it done before the rain starts. Temperatures this afternoon in the low 80s. If you're doing, cutting the grass after work, temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80. Have you noticed that it feels windy in the spring? Ask the meteorologist. Chris Michaels is going to talk about why it seems like it's so windy during our spring months. That's coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now. We're just updating the situation there in Sampson County, I-40, completely shut down between Sutton Town Road and exit 355 as a result of a fiery crash that happened in the last couple of hours. It's a situation that we've been following, trying to figure out exactly how this happened and the condition of the people involved. Of course, I'll have an update in less than 5 minutes right here on Fox 50.
Today, House Republicans are trying to stop efforts to investigate Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The investigation would center around his use of the Signal app. House Democrats want to force a resolution of inquiry during today's meeting, and it would require President Trump and Hegseth to turn over all communications about military operations shared over the app. However, GOP leaders put a provision into a rule that effectively denies Democrats from forcing votes.
The U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear Karen Reed's double jeopardy claim. Reed is on trial for the second time, accused of killing her Boston boyfriend in 2022. Her first trial ended with a hung jury. They say a retrial on those charges is a violation of Reed's constitutional protections against double jeopardy. If the Supreme Court had agreed to hear the double jeopardy case, the murder trial would have been put on pause.
Today, state lawmakers will discuss a bill that would allow criminals on death row in North Carolina to choose new methods for their execution. State law currently identifies lethal injection as the primary mode for capital punishment in North Carolina. Legal challenges led to the state not carrying out a death penalty sentence since 2006. If executions were to resume, House Bill 270 would allow convicts to choose between lethal injection, electrocution, or death by firing squad. A legislative committee plans to discuss that bill today.
This morning, about 90% of Spain and 95% of Portugal have their power back after a massive blackout that affected millions of people. The outage caused huge traffic jams. Rail travel also grounded to a halt, leaving people stranded as they tried to get home.
I'm trying now to leave, and we heard there is no metro, no trains. Me and my colleagues needed the train to also go back home. The city is complete chaos from what I can see walking until here.
Phone service and ATMs were also knocked out. A state of emergency remains in place this morning across Spain. And Spain's King Felipe chaired a national security meeting to try to find out what caused that outage. We'll provide you with details as we get them.
So you know that saying, right? April showers bring May flowers. Well, today we got to talk about a different spring weather phenomenon. Meteorologist Chris Michaels tells us about why this is the time of year to hold onto your hats in today's Ask the Meteorologist.
Yeah, so it's actually the windiest time of year. When you look at the average wind speed per month, March and April kind of take the cake there. But as you go into the summer, that's when the wind generally outside of thunderstorms will calm down a little bit. So the reason why this is the time of year where you see the strongest winds is because that's when the jet stream is most active. So you have the hot air to the south, the cold air still to the north. That jet stream is basically your railroad for storm systems or areas of low pressure. Thing is, the air tries to rush toward a low pressure to essentially fill the void, and an invisible force deflects it to the right. It's called the Coriolis force. That's how we get a lot of those northwest breezes that bring in the lower humidity, kind of like what we've been seeing over the past couple of days. But the stronger the pressure difference, you're kind of squeezing the air a little bit more, and that determines your wind strength. So we see periods of time over the course of the next few days where the gusty wind, it'll just hang out with us, about 20 miles per hour or greater heading into the weekend. And with that, some of those April showers in the forecast. Elizabeth here with the latest timeline on those coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. The U.S. Navy says a $60 million fighter jet fell into the Red Sea. An FA Super Hornet fighter jet, similar to the one pictured here, fell overboard from the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier. Authorities say the ship came under fire from Houthi fighters and had to make a hard turn to avoid the attack. During that maneuver, that jet fell right into the water.
Local religious leader and activist Bishop Reverend William J. Barber was arrested in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. Barber and others in an interfaith prayer gathering were taken into custody yesterday. Barber's nonprofit says they were praying in protest of proposed budget cuts. Barber is the former North Carolina NAACP president. He was previously arrested while protesting in D.C. in 2016 and 21.
Former St. Augustine's University head men's basketball coach Clarence Brown is suing the university. Court documents show the university cut Brown's position back in December. The school slashed its staff in half late last year to reduce expenses. It also discontinued its men's basketball program. And Brown says the university ended his employment contract, quote, without cause, and it now owes him $23,000.
A superhero surprise at Wake Med Children's Hospital. Window washers transformed into superheroes, rappelling down the side of the building to cheer up kids receiving treatment there. And the surprises for families did not end there. Get this, Wake Med expanded the superhero universe inside with face painting and color stations, plus a create your own superhero name activity and a photo booth too.
A lot of kids are in here sick, and it's just something that make them feel better. And then it's so much evil going on in the world, so now they can see that they got heroes. And even the doctors and the nurses, I consider them superheroes as well.
Provides them just a needed break from some of the hardships they're going through. Hospital staff says events like this, well, it gives their patients and their loved ones a break from their hospital room.
Raleigh Executive Jetport in Sanford is getting an air traffic control tower. The airport says the FAA approved construction. It's one of many expansion projects. The timeline is unclear, but airport officials say they hope to have it completed within 3 years. Once built, the tower will be operated by the FAA.
All right, we do want to take a look at your weather forecast on your Tuesday morning. We have Elizabeth Gardner getting a look at our WRAL live camera network and talking about the next weather maker.
Yeah, looking nice out there right now. High pressure is bringing us the sunshine, but it's also helping to bring some hotter weather our way. We'll start to feel it today, but we'll really feel it for the rest of the work week. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, all looking beautiful with the sunshine. Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. Once this high pressure system moves off, of course, it's helping to push in warmer air now. We'll see a warm front drop in on us, bringing us a chance of showers and storms tomorrow. And then Friday into Saturday, this front finally moves eastward and helps to bring us some rain. Now, there's been a good bit of severe weather along the southern end of this, especially in Oklahoma overnight and this morning. They continue to have a pretty solid batch of those severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing right now. And level 3 risk down here in Texas, a level 2 risk from the Ohio Valley up through Pennsylvania and New York. But we're not looking at any severe storms right now. Certainly possible on Saturday. We'll keep our eye on that. But right now, we're not. It's not something that the Storm Prediction Center is watching closely. Watch this front, though, dropping in on us. This is what we call a backdoor front when it comes in from the north instead of from the west. And it will bring us some showers and thunderstorms starting at around 3 o'clock tomorrow, potentially up through the evening commute. And then it tapers off by around midnight or so. Thursday looks a little drier, but then here comes the front. That front will slide eastward. We're likely to be fairly dry on Thursday, but on Friday, we'll have the potential for some scattered storms, and Saturday, an even better chance when the front itself comes through. Once that front passes by on Sunday, it's going to feel very much like last week. It's going to be warm and humid ahead of that front on Saturday, and then cool, dry, and beautiful on Sunday. 40% chance Wednesday as well as Friday and Saturday. And how much rainfall total for the 3 days? Probably going to be somewhere around ½ an inch to maybe an inch of rain. We've got the yellow light on for Saturday, kind of watching the timeline for those storms. But Sunday looks absolutely gorgeous with a green light for getting outside. 89 Wednesday, 90 Thursday, 89 on Friday. Friday. We'll talk about how close that is to record highs coming up. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now. Let's get right to updating that breaking news we've been following all morning long. This crash on I-40 eastbound near Faison at exit 355. It's causing a backup from exit 355 all the way to Sutton Town Road, almost back to Highway 13, if you will. Here's the result. Some new video into our newsroom and some live pictures as well. On the left, that's the video taken in the last hour and a half or so. On the right, of course, that's a scene that completely shut down I-40 eastbound. We're told this involves more than one vehicle, including 2 tractor trailers. We're working to figure out exactly how it happened and the condition of the people involved. If you're heading east this morning, your best bet will be to take exit 341, get over to Highway 50, over to Highway 117, and then work your way back to I-40. This is a situation where we're seeing the usual congestion building on some of the major routes, including I-40 and Lake Wheeler here in West Raleigh.
All right, thank you, Ken.
Fluoride final vote. A decision will be made over water additives in Harnett County and parts of Wake County. How this lines up with fluoride debates at the federal level.
And we are following an Amber Alert out of Garner that has since been canceled. A woman and her 1-year-old child taken from a home. They were found safe. We'll have more at 8:30.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Ken Smith is in the WRAL Traffic Center monitoring a fiery crash in Sampson County, Ken.
Oh, yeah, Michelle, it's been a real troubled spot this morning. All lanes, the I-40 eastbound lanes, rather, I should say, closed from exit 355 all the way back to Sutton Town Road, almost all the way back to Highway 13 there in Newton Grove. It involves a fiery crash involving 2 tractor trailers. Video on the left is a video shot in the last hour. On the right, you're seeing those lanes completely shut down. We'll continue to monitor this and have an update for you at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
And taking a look at Chapel Hill, looking beautiful. Look at that gorgeous sunshine there. Our temperatures are mostly in the mid to upper 50s right now. 56 in Garner, 57 Roxborough, 61 in Durham. So it's a cool start this morning. Lunchtime temperature in the mid 70s. Beautiful for spending your lunch hour outside. And it'll be a warm afternoon. We'll see a high of 83 if you're running after work, right around 80 degrees.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Garner police have found a missing 1-year-old girl and her mother. This is a live look in Wake Forest. The family was found safe at this home. Police say they were abducted at a home on Buck Branch Drive by 3 masked people with guns. Garner police, SBI, and the FBI are actively investigating this case. And this morning at 9, the Harnett County Board of Commissioners will vote on whether to remove fluoride from drinking water. This comes after health officials recommended to the County Board of Commissioners to keep it last week. Next on Fox 50, how the mayor of Zebulon is responding to the town's leadership shakeup. And up next on Today, all-star chefs on the plaza to celebrate the launch of the Today Loves Food cookbook.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
That breaking news takes us to Sampson County. This video was taken in the last hour or so of Highway I-40 eastbound closed, shut down in the eastbound lanes there in Faison because of a fiery crash. We'll let you know in a live report and how to get around it.
And found safe, a mother and her 1-year-old daughter have been found after being kidnapped at gunpoint in Garner. This is a live look in Wake Forest where investigators found them after an hours-long search.
And the next weather maker is a high pressure system that's pushing more warm air into our region. I'll show you when our highs are back close to 90 degrees.
Drinking water decision. A final vote today on whether to keep fluoride flowing in one county's water supply. Why some say it's beneficial and others want it gone. Obviously, that big story we're also following, that mother and child just found not long ago. Destiny Patterson will have a little bit more for that on us here on WRAL News on Fox 50. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris Lovington.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Beautiful sunny blue skies to start off our Tuesday morning. And it's going to continue. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a live look over Fayetteville Street. Our temperatures are going to climb this week, though.
Yes, we're looking at upper 80s to around 90 starting tomorrow. Today is going to be kind of a transition day. We were in the upper 70s yesterday, low 80s this afternoon. That's lovely as we look down Fayetteville Street, of course, from our Jimmy V camera. 61 is our current temperature. We have a southerly wind that's helping to warm things up for us. We jump to 60 in Goldsboro, 62 in Clinton. It's still 57 in South Hill and in Southern Pines, but we're starting that quick warm up out there. Our temperatures right now are running from maybe a couple of degrees to almost 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. 83 for the high later on today, but our humidity does stay low today. Tomorrow, the moisture increases with a front, and that'll bring us a chance of some thunderstorms. I'll show you when coming up. Ken?
All right, that's what's happening now in the WRAL traffic center. Get right to that breaking news out of Sampson County. I-40, the eastbound lanes are completely shut down from exit 355 all the way back to Sutton Club Road. And that's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey this morning, live on the scene to set the scene and walk us through what happened. Kelsey.
Ken, traffic is backed up for miles here on 40 East. We'll give you a look now at this scene. There's still nearly a dozen emergency vehicles in the area, and we'll pan over so you can see what's left of what it looks like 2 tractor trailers here. We'll also show you some Sky 5 video of those tractor trailers engulfed in flames. The State Highway Patrol says the initial call came in as a tractor trailer explosion. We're working to find out how many vehicles were involved in this crash. SHP says at least one person was injured. We're working to get an update on their condition and whether there were any more injuries in the crash. Right now, all lanes of 40 East are closed near exit 355, and the road is not expected to reopen until 10 o'clock this morning. So, Ken, what can you tell folks about how they can avoid this if they're on the road?
Yeah, so many people at any given point head east, whether they're going to Wilmington or whatever. This searching all the way back to almost Highway 13. Your best bet will be to get off on exit 341, work your way over to Highway 50, then 117, and then work your way back to I-40 this morning. Of course, we'll stay on top of it here in the WRAL traffic center. Back here at home, we're seeing the usual congestion building on US 1 coming north as well as the Beltline. Of course, that southern loop of the Beltline, this is what it looks like. Those westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. As far as other major routes coming into the capital city, here's what we're looking at. A 23-minute delay if you're coming in from Apex and all points west. The other troubled spot, of course, is in Wake Forest. And if you're coming in from Durham as well. Speaking of Durham, over in the Bull City, very little to no delays, really, when you look at what's happening there in the Bull City. We'll keep an eye on it here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
All right, thank you, Ken. Breaking news, within the last hour, we have learned that a 1-year-old girl and her mother at the center of an Amber Alert have been found safe. You may have heard that alert on your phone around 2 a.m. Police say 3 masked suspects with guns abducted them at a home on Buck Branch Drive in Garner. And WRAL's Destiny Patterson, she has been following this story. She went from Garner to Wake Forest, where authorities found the victims. About, 6 hours after that alert, Destiny?
That's right. It's been several hours now, and we just made it up to Wake Forest. Just in the last 10 minutes, we saw authorities rush to this side of Mitchell Mill Road here, FBI as well as the sheriff's office with a canine, seemingly looking for something or someone. On this side of the road here, we can still see authorities on this side of the road, and this is where authorities ended up after hearing from people in the community. If you take a look at this Sky 5 video, you can get a bird's eye view of what this scene looks like. Several units here on the scene. Investigators say the mother and the child are not injured, so that is some good news here. And now we're on the opposite side of the county. We were in Garner earlier this morning. Now we're in Wake Forest. Again, according to that broadcast by radio traffic, authorities ended up here after getting tips from concerned citizens.
Female at the home is saying that an alarm came to the house with her baby, saying she was kidnapped last night.
So in Garner is where police say that they were kidnapped from. Garner police tell us that the 3 suspects broke into their home with masks and guns and demanded $1 million from the family. Police say the suspects tied down the father with tape and then drove off with the mom and the daughter once they refused to give up that money. At this point, Garner police say that they're not doing any interviews at this point, but they say that they're still actively investigating as well as the FBI and the SBI. And again, we're also watching this small scene here across the street from us. And as we get more updates, we'll bring them to you. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Garner.
Another case we've been following, the Wake County Sheriff's Office is looking for a missing 17-year-old. Annabella Beta was last seen near Chandler Ridge Circle in Raleigh, and she's 5'6". She was last seen wearing a red hoodie, gray sweatpants, and a star on the leg. And she also had some Nike shoes on. So if you've seen her, have any information, you can call 911.
Today, we expect a final decision on whether to keep fluoride in drinking water in Harnett County. This also affects people in Holly Springs and Fuquay-Varina. Health officials recommended to the County Board of Commissioners last week to keep fluoride in water. Board of Health members spent 20 minutes watching a presentation on the benefits of water fluoridation. Members emphasized that fluoride levels are closely monitored.
I want to give you a live look at the legislative building in Raleigh, where today state House lawmakers are set to return to the issue of illegal immigration. One bill they're talking about targets public colleges, community colleges, and public assistance programs. They would essentially be required to verify the immigration status of everyone they serve. Then there's another proposal that would impose higher criminal penalties on people who commit crimes while in the country illegally. Then there's a third bill, one that would spell out how and when county sheriffs must communicate with federal immigration officials, specifically before releasing any prisoner whose immigration status is unknown. All bills are considered likely to pass the state House this week, but still would need approval from the state Senate.
Tonight, President Donald Trump will hold a rally in Michigan to celebrate his 100th day in the Oval Office. Trump is celebrating his border security policies. The White House says illegal border crossings dropped 95% in March compared to 1 year ago under President Joe Biden. Poll data is trending against President Trump. However, a new NBC News Stay Tuned poll finds 55% of Americans disapprove of his job performance. Trump disputed that and other poll data on Truth Social. He posted late last night, quote, "We are doing great, better than ever before."
Today, Wake County school leaders will revisit a proposal that could affect your student. The proposed plan would mean asynchronous remote learning would happen next school year if bad weather closes schools. On those days, students and teachers would use apps such as Canvas or use paper packets for class. The plan is essentially the same as the one the district already uses. This year, most year-round schools had to have school on Saturdays twice, and that's because the district was not prepared to conduct remote learning.
And Chris, the Wake County School Board will also discuss a new draft policy on cell phones in the classroom today. Last week, they worked on defining what counts as an emergency and when cell phones would be needed. They are looking for more guidance. This could be decided by state lawmakers.
A crowd of more than 100 people packed a town hall meeting in Zebulon last night. They were hoping to get answers about a major change in town leadership. Town manager Gilbert Todd Jr. resigned after less than 4 months on the job. He says the Board of Commissioners instructed him to place the assistant town manager on administrative leave. That's despite having no grounds to do so, according to him. Now, 4 days later, assistant town manager Kellyanne Williams also resigned. At last night's meeting, the mayor denied any wrongdoing, but left it at that.
I think that the leadership needs to get together with less general answers and provide us with more specifics.
I do understand the need for transparency, but we're also bound by certain statutes that we can't go against.
Zebulon leaders say the top priority now is filling those positions. We've been in contact with the former town manager and assistant town manager, but neither has agreed to an interview at this time.
Coming up, fuel code fumble. You may have paid more than you needed to for your vehicle registration. 5 on your sides, Keely Arthur will break down how to get a refund.
Plus, parvo and puppies. The Wake County SPCA is closed this week because of an outbreak. We're looking at when adoptions will continue.
And as we head to break, we'll take you live out to Fenton and Cary. Summer-like warmth and humidity return this week, but so do storms. We'll show you the updated chances between now and your weekend.
.43 on this beautiful morning. We take a live look at North Hills. Lots and lots of sunshine. It's going to be another fantastic day to be outside. It's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. We started in the low 50s in a lot of spots, but it's 58 now in Fayetteville, 61 in Roxborough, 62 in Cary, 57 Garner, 58 in Goldsboro. A lovely day today to be outside. We are looking at a dry day today, but a front will drop in on us tomorrow. It's going to bring us a 40% chance of rain. The brand new run of the models that I've been looking at is a little bit slower, so it may be more like evening showers showers and thunderstorms. Dog walking forecast today, highs in the low 80s. And if you're walking the dog this evening, very comfortable at 7 o'clock at 78 degrees, Ken.
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. The usual spots we're seeing the slowdowns on US 1 coming in from Apex, but the real troubled spot, I-40, the eastbound lanes completely shut down from exit 355 near Frayson all the way back to Sutton Town Road as a result of a fiery crash that happened within the last couple of hours. It's a situation that involved 2 tractor trailers and at least 2 other vehicles from what we've been able to see. We'll have an update coming up in less than 5 minutes.
And bring it back here to the WRAL Live Center right now with some brand new information coming out of the Warren County Sheriff's Office. I want you to take a close look at this picture you see here. Police are looking for this man. It's 24-year-old Desmond Hargrove. He is suspected of murdering his 16-year-old girlfriend early Saturday morning in Norlina. The sheriff's office was called to the 300 block of Collins Road in Norlina, Warren County. And Desmond Hargrove, because of that investigation, has been charged with her murder, but he is on the run right now. So any information you have as you look at this description here, Warren County Sheriff's Office would love to hear from you. Norlina Police, call 911 if you know anything about his whereabouts.
Get that online too so people can share that. Thank you, Jeff. A man facing multiple assault charges in Wake County is in jail without bond. Stephen Tant made his first court appearance yesterday. Nightdale police arrested him on Sunday because they say he stabbed 2 women and assaulted a child. According to warrants, one of the victims was Tant's wife. The child in this case is his wife's 7-year-old daughter. Tant's next court appearance is set for May 16th.
This morning, investigators are calling a crash between a boat and a ferry in Florida a hit and run. 1 person was killed. Investigators identified him as 41-year-old Jose Castro. At least 10 others were hurt. Police say the boat that hit the ferry stayed at the scene for a short time. Officers later found it 3.5 miles away. Investigators say the boat captain has been cooperative. They say he voluntarily submitted a breathalyzer that detected no alcohol.
The DMV is now fixing a problem Five on Your Side discovered last year. We're talking about thousands of vehicle registrations having the wrong fuel codes. That meant that some people paid way too much in fees. Keely Arthur explains what those people need to do if they want to get a refund.
There's a letter code on your registration that shows whether your car is gas, electric, or hybrid. After a viewer tip, we found car dealerships forced the wrong fuel code on more than 26,000 titles in 2023 alone. This happened to recent NC State grad Dan Webb. His hybrid pickup truck was incorrectly marked as an electric on the title application. He ended up getting charged electric vehicle fees that don't apply to his truck.
Marked for $180 for an EV tax and some municipal taxes. I think it was like $70.
A DMV spokesperson tells us that incorrect fuel code changes made by dealers started being corrected on January 16th when owners renew their registration. For customers that paid too much in fees because of a code error, they are being refunded on a case-by-case basis, but they still need to call the DMV to ask for that refund. Now, the DMV has a block in place to prevent dealers from being able to make these fuel code changes in the future. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
It appears a deal has been reached with automakers to ease tariffs. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says this helps manufacturers who are committed to investing in America. His statement did not provide any details on the agreement. Currently, there is a 25% tariff on almost all imported cars. There's also 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. Both of those metals are heavily used in auto production.
The SPCA of Wake County will be closed to the public this week because of an outbreak of parvo. It's a highly contagious virus that impacts unvaccinated puppies. The organization says it will be closed through Friday for deep cleaning. 2 infected puppies were brought in from a different county. They are being treated, though, and no dogs have died during the outbreak. The SPCA says exposed dogs are being quarantined, and anyone who has adopted exposed puppies has been notified. Online adoption surveys will continue during the closure. Cat adoptions will resume tomorrow. City leaders in Fayetteville want to hear what you want for the future of the city. What do you want it to look like? The city is relaunching a monthly series called Fayetteville Out Front tonight. It's designed to streamline conversations between community members and city leaders. The first meeting is tonight. That's at 6:30 at the Kiwanis Recreation Center.
Well, they say everything old is new again, especially in Hollywood. David Daniel has our entertainment roundup in today's Hollywood Minute.
This is Detective Crockett, Miami-Dade PD. Patch me through to your sack.
The 2006 movie Miami Vice wasn't very arresting at the box office, but Universal is trying again with another film based on the iconic 80s TV series. Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski is set to helm the new movie about undercover detectives in South Florida. No casting announcements yet. Here's a treat for Johnny Cash fans, courtesy of his daughter. The Cindy Cash collection is one of the largest ever auctions of the legendary singer-songwriter's personal possessions, including rare photographs of Cash and his family, furniture like this hand-carved dragon bed, and jewelry, including this natural blue and white diamond ring in 14-karat gold. The auction runs through Sunday. More info at cindycash.com.
It was an accident. The truck was transporting a Fresnel lens.
A what?
It sits on top of the lighthouse, spins around.
A traumatized musician finds himself drawn to an old lighthouse in I'm Beginning to See the Light. Jack Houston, Abby Cornish, and Brandon T. Jackson star in the drama, which arrives on digital and VOD platforms Friday. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Seeing natural beauty closer to home gets a little more expensive this week. Reservation fees at state campgrounds go up on Thursday. It's the first major fee increase for state park facilities since 2019. This affects peak season entry fees at reservoir state recreation areas, most camping areas, and some boat slip rentals. For a detailed look at the changes, go to NC Parks website.
To help beat the heat during the summer months as we head into them, the Department of Health and Human Services is giving away free fans. It's through Operation Fan Heat Relief. That kicks off May 1st and it runs through October 31st. People 60 and older and adults with disabilities are able to sign up for assistance. And I tell you what, that's definitely needed. I mean, a fan would certainly be needed today. I think we're hitting, near 90 at one point this week, Elizabeth?
We are. Tomorrow, 89, 90 Thursday, 89 again on Friday. So it is about to get hot. Take a look here. The Deep app is behind me, and you can see a few people wandering around. Today is one of the 3 education days at the Durham Bulls ballpark. I'll be out there live at noon today. And in the meantime, the Storm Tracker and I will be greeting some kids and talking to them about what we do here in the Weather Center. Looking forward to seeing everybody in just a little while. 61 degrees is our temperature right now. Beautiful day to be outside at the ballpark or anywhere. Our temperature at lunchtime, 77. We'll see a high of 83, and our humidity stays nice and low today. Checking temperatures now, 59 in South Hill, 63 Goldsboro, 57 in Southern Pines. Around the Triangle, it's 59 in Apex, 58 in Garner, 61 currently in Morrisville. So we're warming up nicely. Our next weather maker is this high pressure system spinning clockwise, starting to pull in a lot of heat, and we'll feel that, of course, through the week. It's dry today, but we do have some storms in our forecast starting tomorrow. 83 today in Durham and Raleigh, and 85 in Fayetteville. Our muggy meter right now is down here in the comfortable zone. Actually, look at that. It just bumped up to 51, so it gets us right at there. I come out to move that up just a smidgen. We do see that climbing a little bit for tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, as we see more warmth, more moisture moving in, and a better chance for showers and thunderstorms. Of course, the Bulls game at 11 o'clock. Temperature 11 o'clock should be around 73. At 1 o'clock, 80 degrees. So it's going to be a very comfortable lunch hour. Maybe you're headed out to the Canes game. If you're planning to be there to do some tailgating, it's going to feel great. Temperatures will be in the low 80s at 6 p.m. Lots of sunshine, low humidity. At the end of the game, around 70 degrees. We are looking at the hot temperatures, though, for the next 3 days, close to 90, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and our normal high is 76. We do see a drop in our temperature by Saturday, but Thursday, we could be close to a record. It's 2 degrees off for both Raleigh and Fayetteville, almost a record high for Thursday. We have a reported photo. Karen, via Reported, sent us the Starlink satellites going by from Holly Springs. We love your reported photos. Go to WRAL.com/reported. We get to Friday and Saturday, a better chance for showers and thunderstorms, but Sunday looks like a nice day to be outside with low humidity and mid-70s.
All right, thanks so much, Elizabeth. And before we go to break, here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. We'll be back with another check on weather and traffic coming up in just a few minutes.